Now, in Chinua Achebe's debut novel, Things Fall Apart, the now-deceased world-renowned writer quotes an Igbo proverb: "When you see a toad jumping in broad daylight, then know that something is after its life." End of that quote. Now, this week, that proverb couldn't have been more apt in capturing the outbursts of the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, David Kenani Maraga. He lashed out at the President of the Republic in ways quite uncharacteristic of a Chief Justice, and that could not have been for nothing. So, on my angle tonight, I revisit an old doctrine that has guided democracies over the years: separation of powers. Known in Latin as trias politica, the term separation of powers was coined by 18th century French philosopher Charles-Louis de Secondat, Baron de la Brede et Montesquieu, simply known by many as Montesquieu. Now, Montesquieu believed that dictatorship or despotism was a constant danger for any government, even a good one. He argued that imminent dictatorship could best be prevented by a system in which different arms of government exercise legislative, executive, and judicial power. But he added a rider to that all these parts of government had to be bound by the rule of law. In crafting this novel idea at the time, a novel idea of government, the French philosopher envisioned a society in which the same person would not form more than one organ of government. One organ of government would not exercise the function of another, and that one organ of government would not encroach on the functions of the other two organs. This is the doctrine, ladies and gentlemen, that inspired the widely referenced American Constitution and many others around the world. It remains a key pillar of any democratic society. Without it, civic order simply collapses and dictatorship takes root. Now, it is fair to say that this concept was virtually non-existent in the Constitution we had before 2010. In that Constitution that had been mutilated countless times, the President was a law unto himself, a one-man trinity of sorts that controlled the executive, the judiciary, the legislature, and even other irrelevant tribal hierarchies. He had Parliament at his beck and call. The judiciary trembled at a phone call from State House, and the line between the President and government was practically absent. But that dark era was drowned by the shouts of triumph at Uhuru Park on the 27th of August 2010 as a mammoth crowd gathered to usher in a new Kenya. In that new Kenya, the line between the three arms of government and their independence from each other was drawn in bold ink. Never again would the executive lord it over the judiciary. Never again would Parliament be subservient to the executive. And never again would government be run at the pleasure of just one person. That was the letter and the spirit of the Constitution. 10 years down the line, there is talk of changing that Constitution. But that talk is coming on the back of a loud cry from one arm of the government. The Chief Justice is essentially saying that the President, just like in the pre-2010 era, is trying to lord it over the judiciary, that the President, who is the head of the executive, is encroaching on the territory of the judiciary, and that the President is attempting to direct how the judiciary should function and who should work there. These, ladies and gentlemen, are serious charges. They raise questions about our commitment to the tried and tested principle of separation of powers, the principle that made it possible for the Supreme Court to nullify that controversial election in 2017, the principle that made it possible for courts to overrule the President and Parliament on certain matters several times. It is, by the way, also the principle that allows the President to veto decisions from Parliament, just like he did with the removal of caps on bank interest rates last year. So if the President is happy to overrule Parliament legally, he surely should be just as happy to be overruled by other arms of government. I end with the timeless words of Montesquieu once again, that there would be an end of everything were the same man or the same body to exercise those three powers, that of enacting laws, that of executing the public resolutions, and that of trying the causes of individuals. That is my angle for the week.